So welcome to another day in my healing journey. Recently, I've been working on healing my relationship with money. And I know that I'm not alone out there. I know a lot of you are struggling with this. So I started going back into my childhood and really thinking about where some of my attitudes about money came from. And I will say that I was an only child. So growing up, my dad didn't make a lot of money. My mother didn't work. And so I heard a lot that we were 1 week away from being homeless. And I remember growing up with this panic all the time. As an adult, I look back on this and I realize we weren't always a week away from being homeless. I'm not really sure why that was told to me, except that I think it might have been my mom's way of keeping me from asking for anything, keeping me from, wanting to go on extra field trips, taking advantage of extra opportunities as a teenager because she didn't want to pay for it. And for my father, money was a sense of ego for him. So I remember one year at Christmas, I was in this church, and we used to, as teenagers, we would gather food for the needy families in our church, and we would go deliver them right around Christmas time. And that year, while I was out delivering food to other needy families, another group of teens from our church delivered a package to our house. And my father was so angry about this. It was not a beautiful thing, and it should have been, because we needed that food. We really did. But for him, this was a blow to his ego, and so he made me package up the food and take it over to our bishop's house and leave it at his house. And for all the things that I can tell you about our bishop, this is one time that I gained a lot of respect for the man, because he was a pretty wealthy guy. And when we left the food on his doorstep, I'll never forget it. He yelled, "Thank you." It was a gift, and he was grateful for it. And I remember just being very confused about that. Why couldn't we just be grateful? I was hungry. And we didn't have any food that year. We didn't have a nice Christmas dinner that year. We might have gone over to relatives' houses and, eaten. But, we came home and there was nothing in the fridge. It was very important to them that we keep this quiet. We don't tell anybody how badly we're doing. And I just realized as I got older that we weren't ever doing as bad as they said we were, but it was this lack mentality, and it was this idea of keeping that lack mentality programmed in me was really, really important to them. There was this sense of pride in not being too rich and not being seen as too poor. So straddling the world of, we weren't allowed to shop at Goodwill, but we couldn't shop at anything nicer than Kmart, which, for those of you who don't know, Kmart is the old Walmart kind of. So anyway, it was just a really interesting dynamic that I had to unlearn as I got older. And I did. For the most part, I feel like we've done really well. I've tried to not teach lack mentality to my kids. I've tried to teach them that, look, there's an abundance of opportunities out there. Times get hard sometimes, you got to learn the value of $1, but that the universe is abundant, and we can figure things out. So what I've been challenging myself to do over the last few days, and I'm going to continue to challenge myself with this, is I am trying to either earn or manifest $1 a day above and beyond my normal paycheck and all that. but like an extra $1 a day, somewhere, some way. And I've had to get creative. It's helped that I have Uber Eats, because that is something that I can like go out and make one delivery, and I've done it for the day. But then, I wasn't able to leave my house yesterday. And so I was like, all right, well, how am I going to do this? And I had to work a little hard at it, but started taking, surveys online, and got myself up to $1. It wasn't really worth my time, obviously, because, my time is worth a lot more than $1 for the amount of time it took me to do the survey. But it wasn't about that. It was more about, can I do this? Can I get creative? What could I do? Can I take my guitar outside and play on the side of the road till I get $1? And it's thinking outside the box and thinking creatively, and realizing that there is abundance around us. And I don't mean that in any way to to devalue your experience and the fact that things are hard out there and the economy is struggling. That's just fact. But it's changing our personal relationship with money and our thoughts about it, and staying out of this lack mentality and getting into the idea of abundance. It is it's definitely a mind shift, a paradigm shift, and it's generational. So anyway, just sharing some experiences with you. Wonder if you can relate, and good luck out there.